One of my favorite mugs is my Animal Crossing mug. Now, at first glance, this mug just looks like any other mug except with Tom Nook on it. But however, when you add hot water to it, you slowly start to see a color change. This is because the mug is produced of thermocratic materials. Now, thermochromism is actually the property of a substance to change color based on the amount of heat added. Now, normally when we add heat to an object, the electrons get excited, move up in energy levels, and eventually emit photons. And this can cause kind of light to be produced from heating up an object. Now, this thermocratic mug is special because no light is produced, and also it requires a lot smaller of a temperature change in order to produce a color change. Now, thermocratic materials can either be made in two ways. So the first way is with liquid crystals, which are exactly what they sound like. So at room temperature, these crystals are a solid. They're arranged in a crystalline structure, kind of like matches in a matchbox. But however, when you add heat to them, they start to move into crystal phase. And their spaces between the crystals starts changing, and this actually changes the way that light reflects off of them and eventually gives a color change. Now, as we add more energy or more heat to these crystals, they'll produce more of a red color. And as we add less heat to it, they'll produce more of a violet color. So that as they actually move up and down a red-violet spectrum, so this is why they're used in thermometers. Now, the next type of change is with Lucio dyes. Now, Lucio dyes are in commercial products. They're in mugs like these, t-shirts, business cards, and actually even footballs. So these work in two ways. So Lucio dyes have two phases, a Lucio and a non-Lucio phase. Basically, a Lucio is an organic molecule and it has a melting point that is pretty low considered to other molecules. So when we add a certain amount of heat to it, we see that dye melt away and it's in its non-Lucio phase, which yields us a color change. Now, these Lucio dyes are actually, they can be created in really easy ways. Normally, they're just encapsulated in a thin capsule, and they can be put on commercial products. One drawback of this type, though, is that they're actually, if they're exposed to extreme temperatures, they will get damaged, which is why you can't really put mugs like this in the dishwasher. So even though this topic sounds pretty hard, full of optics and thermodynamics, one thing's crystal clear, that mugs like this are just a warm-up for the bigger uses of thermochromatic materials. Thermochromatic materials will eventually be used in a lot cooler objects like textile engineering, chemical engineering, manufacturing, and even pharmaceutics are becoming a hotspot for dyes like these. As we can see in this picture, around 5 minutes after the initial pour, the cup completely changed.